What's going on YouTube world? I go by the name Salute Mr. Washington, and today I want to bring you a case study on how upcoming rappers became megastars and how you can use the same information to accelerate your music career. Now a little about myself. I'm a music producer that lives in Atlanta, and while staying in Atlanta, I saw the careers of many local rappers take off, and I also saw the careers of rappers who did not live in Atlanta achieve much success of which they would not achieve in their home state. So without further ado, let's get into this case study. What you'll learn in this case study is branding, budgeting, and building relationships. So first off, let's start with some definitions. All right, definition number one. Branding is usually a unique mark or an image, such as a logo, but can also adhere to a person. Essentially, branding is how people connect with you. For instance, if you do music, then the public needs to be aware that you are a music artist. If they are not aware that you are a music artist, then it's going to be hard for them to connect with you. And as you can see here, Jay-Z, as soon as you see Jay-Z, it's immediate. You know he's associated with music. It's a direct connection with music. So if you're an artist and your social media presence has nothing to do with music, I mean, occasionally you can have memes here and there, but if it has nothing to do with music, then people might overlook you, and labels might not want to check you out either because they don't know that you're dealing with music. All right, moving on to definition number two. Budgeting, a fixed amount that you're not willing to go over. A lot of artists do not have a budget. This is essential to accelerating your career in the music industry, and budgeting will really help you figure out where the money is going. A lot of artists sometimes spend money in one area and neglect another area that really needs attention. And as I continue along, you will see how some artists use a set amount to accelerate their music career and what they spent their money on to achieve the success they wanted. All right, definition number three. Building relationships, having common goals and interests. Now, a lot of artists do not do this. They don't build relationships. Right now, what I'm seeing in the music industry is many artists not connecting with DJs, which is vital to having a successful career in the music industry. Even though we are in a digital age of streaming, and many artists don't think they need a DJ to help them accelerate their career, but the DJs are the ones that spin the records in the club and also can get your song played on the radio, which many artists are forgetting about that. As I continue on in this case study, you will see how the artist and DJ relationship helped accelerate the careers of many successful artists today. All right, the first artist I want to talk about is Future. Now, Future took over the music industry by storm. He reps Atlanta. His music is controversial, but that's his target audience. Remember that, target audience. And he inspired many other artists to copy his style. Here's an overview of Future's work ethic. He booked studio time at renowned studios. He collaborated with many local artists. This is, believe it or not, he really did do that. While staying in Atlanta, there were so many artists that had songs with Future before he reached a nationwide platform. I can't count how many, but one song I remember is Racks on Racks with Young Chris and many other artists in Atlanta. But another thing Future did was release multiple mixtapes. Future released so many mixtapes, I lost count as to how many mixtapes he was coming out with. But now they're not calling them mixtapes anymore, they're calling them albums now. But one thing that's very key and major in Future's success is that he built relationships with popular and local DJs. And here's proof of Future's work ethic. As you can see, this is just I know there's only just 3 mixtape covers, but he had many more mixtape covers. Now, digging a little deeper into Future's success, now you can Google old Future interviews and you can see what I'm talking about, because this is what he really did. And you can hear what he said in those interviews as well to back up my claims. Future had a budget of $5,000. This is what he said that he was using. He had a budget of $5,000. He also targeted a controversial audience, in my opinion. I don't think he knew he was doing that, but that's what he was doing. And what he did was, he said in one interview, is that rappers would say they were on drugs while recording, but they really weren't. So he said in order to reach the people that he was trying to target and whatnot, he will really sip lean while he was recording. Now, I'm not advising you to do drugs, but however you get your inspiration, don't let it affect the quality of your music. Another thing about Future was that his songs were in rotation at popular clubs, strip clubs, and any hole in the wall. I'm telling you, Future was taking over the streets by storm in Atlanta. I mean, he almost couldn't be stopped. Even if he were stopped, it would be hard to try to stop him. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just like a landslide when Future had came on the scene. And another thing I saw while I was going to college, downtown Atlanta, flyers were posted all around the metro Atlanta area. Even on the MARTA bus station stops, I would see flyers of Future. Another thing Future did, he scheduled interviews. He didn't miss an interview. If any local radio station or any local podcast were trying to come up, he would schedule an interview with these people to let them know what he was doing and how he was doing it. And then one thing that was major about Future is that the relationships he built with those DJs is that they were able to play his songs on late night radio stations before he even got a record deal or before he even got recognized nationwide. Another thing about Future is that he was friends with DJ Esco. Now, DJ Esco was the house DJ at that time for Magic City, and DJ Esco would play Future songs in the strip club, and that would really help accelerate his career. That's one thing about Atlanta, that if your song don't bang in the strip clubs in Atlanta, you might as well go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what you're trying to do next. Now, here's a recap of Future's work ethic. He booked or hanged out at the studio. Now, hanging out at the studio, if you don't know those people, then I really wouldn't advise you to hang out at the studio unless you're cool with the people. But he booked time at the studio, and maybe he was able to build a relationship to hang around the people at the studio. Another thing he did was built a solid street team, which included DJs and possibly other people as well to help him market himself, which is vital in your career as a musician. He targeted a controversial audience. That's one thing as an artist you need to do. You got to target an audience. And last but not least, he had a budget. He had a budget. A lot of artists do not have a budget. You really need a budget to help yourself accelerate your career forward. I know I'm reiterating this a lot, but you need a budget, man, so you'll know what you're spending your money on, and you won't feel depressed or have buyer's remorse if something doesn't work out like you want it to work out, and you'll know where you need to put your money at, and you won't neglect areas that need attention. All right, moving forward, the next artist I want to talk about is Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap is another artist who took over the industry by storm, but it was kind of brief. I'm gonna say he took over the summer by storm. His fame to success was Trap Queen, which was a major success. He even got to go on tour with Taylor Swift, which was really major for a rap artist, in my opinion, to go on tour or to show up on tour with a country singing artist. I believe she's country. Don't quote me on that. She might be pop country or something like that. But yeah, but he's an artist from New Jersey, but he was inspired by Atlanta's rap scene and culture. His target audience was club and party music, but mainly it was for women. Now, I don't know if you heard about how women are the top consumers of music. Moving along, here is an overview of Fetty Wap's strategy. He mimicked Atlanta's rap style. He paid Southern DJs. To spin his records in popular clubs, strip clubs, any hole in the wall. More than likely, he had a street team, and eventually he got signed. But digging a little deeper into Fetty Wap's success, Fetty Wap said he paid around $800 to get his record played in clubs down south. I know this may seem a little far-fetched and not believable, but I remember watching an interview on Fetty Wap, and they asked him how did he get his song so big down south. He said he paid DJs down south. I don't know which DJs they were or who he paid $800 to get his song spin down south, but that's what he said he did. Now, you can say that I'm lying and whatnot, but that's what he did. Now, you can't find an interview online. I don't know if they scrubbed the internet of that interview or what have you, but I do recall him saying that he paid $800 to get his record spin down south. All right, the next artist I want to talk about is a rapper named Lil Uzi Vert. Now, Lil Uzi Vert is a special case. He's a rapper from Philly. Now, the thing about Lil Uzi Vert is the fact that he was backed by two powerhouse DJs. Now, everyone else I mentioned from Future to Fetty Wap, they didn't really have these powerhouse DJs behind them. Lil Uzi Vert had Don Cannon, which is the tall man, and DJ Drama, which is a light-skinned male right there. Don Cannon was a music producer, and DJ Drama had Gangsta Grills, so they already could give that official stamp to Lil Uzi Vert. And another thing is that they played his songs on late-night radio stations. I remember DJ Drama had his own segment on a radio station, and he was playing songs from artists that you probably never even heard of. And one night he was playing a song from Lil Uzi Vert, and I really thought it was an artist from Atlanta, but coming to find out, he's not even from Atlanta. Now, I don't have a lot of information on Lil Uzi Vert, but I did find an article on how Lil Uzi Vert's claim to fame came to be, and I placed that link in the description. Moving along, another artist, this is one of my favorite artists, is Young Dolph. Now, Young Dolph is from Memphis. He's independent and he's very successful. He was popular in southern regions before being recognized nationwide, and he made music for hustlers in the streets. This was his target audience. And just like Future, Young Dolph released multiple mixtapes. But one thing that was different about Young Dolph is that he reached out to an Atlanta artist that was already famous nationwide, which was Gucci Mane. And along with that came Zaytoven, and that helped Young Dolph gain popularity on Atlanta's rap scene. And just like every other artist that I mentioned previously, Young Dolph had built relationships with DJs in Atlanta and even in his home state. Now, I don't know the budget that Young Dolph had to accelerate his music career, but I know for a fact that Young Dolph was in heavy rotation in the clubs in Atlanta, even on the radios in Atlanta. But those features from Gucci Mane and Zaytoven really helped his career take off in Atlanta. Now, the last artist that I want to talk about before we get into how you can apply these steps and what you can do to help accelerate your career is Megan Thee Stallion. Now, Megan Thee Stallion is not from Atlanta. She's actually from Texas, and her song Big Ol' Freak was a huge success in Atlanta. And I remember hearing her song on the radio, and I didn't know who she was at first. I thought it was like somebody trying to be Nicki Minaj, to be honest with you. But anyway, in order for her to have her song played on the radio like that, she had to have some connection to some DJs, especially in Atlanta, because that was the first time I ever heard of Megan Thee Stallion. It was like the summer of last year, and then she blew up this year, 2019, and her target audience is sex sales. Now, I don't have a lot about Megan Thee Stallion. Her information is kind of under the table a little bit, but more than likely she had a team that helped her push her music to the point where she is now. So with that being said, let's move along to what you can do as an artist to help accelerate your music career. What you can do as an artist is, number one, you need to come up with a plan and stick to it. Number two, you need to target an audience with your music. Now, I don't know what type of music you're making, but whatever type of music you're making, if it's for a specific audience like hustlers in the streets, which many people are doing right now, sex sales, which Megan Thee Stallion is doing right now, or whatever that you're trying to do, maybe you want to be a conscious rapper, you need to target that audience like the old school rap, old school hip hop. Moving on to number three, quantity and quality. Nowadays, a lot of artists are not doing the mixtape formula, which they release in multiple mixtapes with a vast amount of songs. And nowadays, artists are just releasing singles upon singles just to see which one is going to hit. But in my opinion, the mixtape formula will help artists keep their names ringing in the streets or trending on social media. Just like when Gucci Mane was doing it, he was dropping mixtape. Just like Lil Wayne was doing, he was dropping mixtape after mixtape. And what I mean by quality is that you need to have your songs mixed and mastered. You don't want to keep dropping songs and the quality is bad or it's trash. You know, you can even get a premix and people will rock with the premix. You know what I'm saying? Number four, be active and be determined. Yeah, it might get hard, but as long as you stay active and be determined, you will accomplish those goals. Number five, you need to build a team. And I will discuss on how you can build that team. And number six, I know a lot of artists don't want to hear it, but you got to pay to play. Nowadays, you got to pay to play. And even back then, I believe you had to still pay to play. You know, it's a new era now. And if you're trying to get signed to a record labels are not looking at talent. Now, you might be the most talented person, musician in the world, but really labels are looking for numbers. And those numbers can be, you know, fabricated or not fabricated. And they also look for popularity, how popular you are. It's almost like high school. You know, you could be with the popular crowd right now, or you can be with the outcast crowd right now. You feel what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you can accomplish your goals and dreams in this music industry. I've seen it happen to many other artists out there. One night they were just a nobody, then the next year they was on top of the charts. All right, moving along. Here's a mock-up of a budget of $5,000. Now, this is just an assumption what Future might have done with $5,000. I can't say for sure, but just from experience and being around studios in Atlanta and seeing what people were doing to accelerate their music career. So with $5,000, you can book studio time. Unless you have your own recording equipment, I will book studio time at a renowned studio. Why a renowned studio? Because at a renowned studio, you got managers at major labels walking in and out. You got managers at local labels that's walking in and out, and they may need somebody to push. They need somebody to help, or you might need to help and whatnot. A&Rs is walking in and out those studios. Other famous artists are walking in and out those studios, and they might be looking for a new artist to put on their roster. That's what I would say, to go to a renowned studio. And out of that $5,000 budget, I would suggest spending $1,000 for 16 to 20 recording hours. If you don't have $1,000 to spend at a renowned studio, I would say between $500 and $800 at a less renowned studio. And adding on to that, you want to get your songs mixed and mastered. And at a renowned studio, it might cost between $1,000 and $2,500 for 3 to 4 songs. And at a less renowned studio, it might cost around about the same price, but you get more songs mixed and mastered. But there's also online options. The only thing about online options is you're not really there to guide the song, how you want the song to be mixed and mastered and whatnot. But yeah, another thing that you can do is book interviews. This is one of many ways to brand yourself and to create an awareness for your brand. Now, the price for an interview can range from $50 to $1,000, but make sure the interviewer has an audience to promote you to. Now, I see this a lot on Instagram. A lot of people are booking interviews with certain individuals, but the audience or the engagement is not really there. They may have 10,000 followers, but no one is really engaging on the post that they have or interacting on the post like that. So you just really want to make sure that wherever you're getting these interviews from, that they're really pushing you out there. The YouTube channel has more than 1,000 subscribers, because you're trying to get yourself out there as an artist. You're trying to make sure that people know who you are and whatnot. But yeah, another thing, what you can do is get in touch with DJs. In my opinion, don't just throw your song on a mixtape. Try to set up a meeting to discuss your plans. Because I've done this before with my friend. I threw his songs on mixtapes and it really wasn't there. It really didn't help propel us forward. And sitting down with the DJ is better, because you can discuss your plans on how you want this single to be pushed and moved. Or maybe you just want that official stamp in the streets to help get your name out there. And that's another way to brand yourself and whatnot. But other than that, if you are going to pay for a mixtape slot, now you got mixtape slots on the low end. It's like $25 for unknown DJs is really trying to get themselves out there. But then you have mixtape slots that start from around 100 to 250 or more. Now that's the high end. Those are DJs who really can get your name out there to push you and propel you forward. But other than that, really try to schedule a meeting or sit down with the DJ, get some back and forth with the DJ to talk to the DJ about what you're trying to do. You don't want to put your song on a mixtape and nothing happens, because I've had DJs not even release the song or even put the song on the mixtape like they claimed, and it seemed like they were just they use their name in their platform to say, oh yeah, I can help you do this, I can help you do that, but really they're not there to help the artist, they're just there to help their pockets. All right, moving along. One thing artists need to do is invest in visuals. This includes photo shoots, music videos, and logos. Now, a logo can range from $50 to $100. Now, depending on who you go through, you really want a good logo, a professional logo. Photo shoots, that can range from $25 an hour to $100 an hour. And also music visuals. A lot of artists are not showing music visuals, but music visuals will give artists or will give the public something to see who you are really. And the music visuals can range from $75 to $100, and that's in studio visuals, which is a good thing. Show people how you're recording your song and whatnot, like the process of recording your songs, maybe driving up to the studio and whatnot. And then $250 and up for a professional video. This is like your music video, the official video for your song or a single and whatnot. Another thing artists can do is invest in flyers and cards. Like I said previously, what Future did, he had flyers all around the metro Atlanta area. That's another way to brand yourself. People were seeing that he was dropping mixtapes, or people were seeing that he was about to perform at this club. But flyers can range from $150 for 5,000, and that's a local print, or $75 to $125 for online, which can take 1 to 2 weeks. Cards with logos. Now, this is important. When you're going somewhere like a music-related event, it's always good to have a card on hand to give to somebody, because sometimes people don't want to talk to you, and you just hand them your card like, here's my card, man. Check me out when you get a chance. And they also have cards with memory drives in them, and you can just hand them your card with your music, like, check my music out, when you get a chance, and let me know what you think, if they want to do that. Now, sometimes they don't want to do that, but on these flyers and cards, you want to include your contact info, your email, your social ads. Now, this is an advanced option. The QR code is a little black and white graphic that you see on many products, and you scan it with your phone, and it brings up the website to whatever that product is. Now, you can do that with a Spotify playlist or even your own website. That's one thing I didn't go over, but yeah, a website for a music artist is really good. All right, continue on in this section. Artists need to attend open mic nights. Now, don't worry about winning at these open mics, because sometimes they already have the set artists they want to win, and it's mainly rigged. It's really rigged, in my opinion, some of these open mic nights. But just go to these open mic nights and don't worry about winning. But a lot of times there's an entry fee for these open mic nights, and it might range from $10, $25, $100, and anything more than $100. Research, even research ones that start at $100, because you just want to make sure that this is a real platform for you to showcase your music, showcase your style, how you perform and whatnot. Another thing, when you're attending clubs, you might want to get a section, and that range from $200 to $350 with a bottle. And sometimes a section is good because people will see that you are in this particular area. You must be an important person. Another thing is going to strip clubs, and sometimes strip clubs have open mic nights. In my opinion, throwing 100 to 500 ones will help the strippers, dance to your song and whatnot. Another thing you want to do is get a stripper on your team, because every time she's getting ready to perform, she can have your song in rotation for her to perform on the dance stage or whatnot. And people could be turning up to your song, causing them to spend more money. And it just gives the overall impression that your song is the song to turn up to in the clubs. All right, moving along, features. Now, if you want a feature, it depends on who you really getting this feature from. You might want a local artist that already has a buzz and using a buzz to help build your audience. Or you can get a feature from a famous artist or artist is nationwide. Now, that will be on the higher end of pricing. So in my opinion, a feature from a local artist will range from $250 and up, and then a feature from an artist is already booming or already has that nationwide buzz might be $5,000 and up. And also about beats. Now, you're an artist and you're just doing this for like mixtape purposes, like I said previously, or you're just trying to find that hit single. You can do those $10 to $100 for non-exclusive leases, because that's how it goes. But then if you feel like you got that hit and you want that beat and you don't want no one else to rap on a song, this is your song, this is gonna take you to the top, and that exclusive price might range from $100 to $500. But if you want to get a lease from a renowned producer, it might be $2,500 and up. I remember Zaytoven charged for a lease, and I believe it was like a 6-month lease. It was $2,000. So it just depends on your budget as well, like I said before. All right, moving along. As we continue, one thing I don't see artists doing is building a team. Now, some people want to be solo dolo out here, but really you need a team to help you succeed in this music industry, or any industry at that. So what I would do is use influencers. You want to use their audience to create your own. You want to make sure it's music related, because there are a lot of influencers out there that do different stuff, but you just really trying to make sure that it's tied into music, so it just won't look awkward, like this person's paying this person to really get put on or get their name out there. Another thing you want to do is get someone popular to review your song or album. There are a lot of popular YouTubers out there that can review your song or album to help propel you forward. Now, how much they charge, I don't know, but you want to make sure how you use these influencers. It's just organic. It helps build your audience. It helps bring brand awareness, generating brand awareness. And in my opinion, use DJs and popular socialites. I can't recall the guy on Instagram, but he will review mixtapes or singles for certain artists, and he will really amp it up or really crank it up for the artist, telling people, you need to go check this out, this song is hot, and this and that. And those are the type of people you want to use. You want to use DJs who will put you out there as well, and popular socialites who will help you. But also make sure they have a big following. People with low followings, in my opinion, or not enough engagements, I know I'm repeating myself, it's not really useful to help you propel yourself forward in the music industry. And that's something that you want to do. You want to use people with a big audience to help build your audience. You need a focus group. These are not the yes man or woman in your group. What you want to do is make sure it's constructive criticism when you're playing your song in front of them, or how you want to perform on stage. Just ask them, do you think this is good or not? If it's not constructive, then you really don't want to listen to them, because it might destroy your hopes and dreams of becoming successful in the music industry. I know some people tell you the hard truth, and sometimes the hard truth can be constructive, but sometimes the hard truth can hit you hard. And in my opinion, just take it with a grain of salt and don't stress yourself when you listen to people and their opinions. But make sure the focus group is really based on constructive criticism, people that really have sound advice, not just awkward advice. Use your friends and family. Using your friends and family is really important, because it just helps show that people really care about what you're doing. And one thing I would ask them to do is post your content, like on a Facebook wall, on Instagram or Twitter, or wherever that they can really give input. One thing you want to do is include them in the photo shoots and visuals, because this might really show them that you're really doing this, and they don't want to feel like you excluded them out or you outcasting them from the beginning of what you're trying to build. And another thing is you want to have them attend the club events with you. Now, this is really important. Sometimes you need that crowd with you while you're performing. And a lot of people don't have that crowd with them. They might go solo dolo, like I said before. But having a crowd with you will help you, not have that stage fright, because you always have that person that you can count on, or a group of people that you can count on that's turning them to your song. Because sometimes performing your song people not turning them to your song. They're trying to figure out who you are. They're trying to analyze how you perform or analyze who you are. But having that crowd with you can help drive you. It's like having your own personal fan base in the club, if you dig what I'm saying. All right, moving along to building relationships. Now, in my opinion, to build relationships, just kind of here or there. You can talk to people and this and that, but attending events is one of the best ways that you can build relationships in the music industry. Now, this could be community or music related. Now, some of these events can be free or paid. Free events can range from, like back to school events, feeding the homeless, or canned food drives, weddings. Paid events could be like the AC3 that's coming up, or any type of music related event that you can go to where a lot of people's gonna be at, like open mics. Those are those type of things for events that could be free or paid. Now, what I would do is reach out to assist. Like, you might see a flyer or something, or that person on Instagram might make a post that this event is happening at this particular location. Reach out to them before the event takes place and ask them, do they need any assistance or anything, or if there's any way that you can help, just to, get yourself out there, that you trying to give out a helping hand. Dress accordingly. Now, a lot of events, you can dress casually, but some events you dress in business-wise without any logos present. In my opinion, at these events, don't nag or deride anybody that's famous. I just feel like that's needful to say, because some people do nag these artists, or they do deride these artists. I'm not the type of person to nag or deride somebody. That's just me. I'm just giving my opinion in that. Keep business cards on hand when introducing yourself. That's the best thing to do. Don't pull out your phone and say, yeah, this is my Instagram. This is, like I said previously, have a card with all your social ads on there, and you just give them to them. Like, here's my card. Hand them your card, and that way it's better that way, in my opinion. Because sometimes people might not follow you on Instagram and whatnot. Now, people are talking and y'all in the group. Sometimes it's best to listen instead of butting in on what those persons are talking about, even if you're not agreeing. And if they, look at you with a stern look, like, I'm just listening, I didn't really have nothing to say, your wisdom precedes mine, just like that. That's all I got to say in regards to that. I'm just giving you my opinion about what I've experienced by being around famous people. But in closing, as you can see, no one's success is overnight, as I went over the steps of what some of these artists did to get where they at now today. And don't be afraid to invest in yourself. It will take some money, so invest in yourself. Now, some people say they started off with nothing, which is a total lie. I don't believe that. They had somebody that would give them some money, maybe a famous friend, relative, or whatever, but they did have some money to put in what they were trying to do. And honestly, I believe anyone can achieve their goals with determination. All right, that's it for now. And also stay tuned for episode 2, which I will describe how upcoming rappers use social media and digital streams to rise to stardom. All right, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends.